Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of 20 Podcast.
So we
So, yeah,
we again are going to talk about that keeping up with geopolitical affairs thing.
mm. so in this episode, we are going to talk about how China is using art of war on Taiwan and also the supply chain crisis.
As we promised earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's start.
So starting with supply chain crisis. So
Yeah.
basically what is happening, I mean, if you can see that inflation is on a huge rise these days, and this is true not just for India, but also for USA and, Canada. So basically they have a festival around this point of time, which is called Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So for Thanksgiving, they prepare a lot of food items, but food items are getting more and more, costly thanks to this supply chain crisis.
Exactly.
So, yeah, basically, uh, what happens is that these things are important,
Mm-hmm.
and given the bad situation between China and USA, a lot of things these are not getting reached to the country on time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you talk about tomatoes,
Yeah, it is
stuff like
very
that.
expensive in India too. And also in Thanksgiving they eat turkey. That's a kind of chicken.
Yeah.
And that has become very expensive in US. So people are not normal people who are actually below average are actually, in a situation where they're not able to buy turkey. And it's like a kind of culture there to eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that has created a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and even gas prices are on
Yeah.
the rise in the country, and not just in USA, in our country as well.
In our country too, we are going 100 plus.
Yesterday my dad was telling me that what we used to spend in 1 month previously, now we just have to spend on vegetable.
Yeah, actually, my mother was also actually telling me that the potatoes here are like 40 rupees kg, and I was like, potatoes for 40 rupees kg? I've never heard like that.
I remember potato being 10 rupees per
Yeah,
kg.
yeah, actually, I remember that
Especially
too.
at this point of year,
Yeah.
this time of year, because
because
it's
gonna
cheap.
be, because the old ones get cheap because the new ones are come. So yeah, I was like, what is happening?
So this is a big issue for the whole world, and you see, not just China is to be blamed. Okay, so my social credit score has gone up. So not just China, I would say a lot of other countries where these produces are made because of one reason or the other, and one reason here is of course China, and the second one is how after the COVID, the demand has gone up by a lot, but the supply, it is not being able to increase at the same level, at the same pace. So this is also an issue, and if you know the law of economics, more the demand, more the price.
More the price.
And less the supply, more the price. Same thing.
Exactly. So that is what is happening, and also the shipping industry is also really hit because of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of port congestion in most places because it's festive, like it was festive season in India, and also the festive season in most countries are now, like in US it's Thanksgiving, in Europe they celebrate differently, like the last day of the year and the new year. So this is something, the supply chain thing has been in the picture since a really long time, and COVID taught us this, that, the supply chain can be hit really hard, and you need to learn how to cope up with it. And it's actually a very big thing for the retailers now, because they are trying, because, the short supply thing is getting delayed a lot. Like the big, like when it takes time for the big things, so that is acceptable that it is going to take time, and the prices of some things actually rise in the winters, but very raw materials shortages are the thing that is affecting us most.
Yeah, and as a solution, there is one thing that the countries can do, and that is increase regional cooperation. So, for instance, in the South Asian region, we have India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, Nepal. Sri Lanka,
China.
Bhutan. So if no, not China, that is
Not
in the southeastern.
yeah.
So in the Asian, in the South Asia, what we can do is increase regional cooperation. So if India is producing a lot of sugar, they can import it to Pakistan. Similarly, if Sri Lanka is producing something, they can import to India. In this way, the supply chain will be maintained because, of course, the delivery time will be low.
Yeah.
And if the delivery time is low, means that not a lot is getting spent on the fuel and on the labor cost.
The only thing that is wrong in our region is we don't have cooperation and we have hostile neighbors too.
Exactly, and especially Pakistan. I mean,
Yeah.
for an instance, even Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they are ready to cooperate, but not Pakistan. And in Pakistan, the issue has gotten so worse because they are not ready to import sugar from India, and that is around 180 kg.
Oh my God. And we people actually, I mean, India and Pakistan, we are kind of same kind of people. I mean, partition didn't divide our genes. We love sugar.
Yeah.
And so, that is really tough.
In Pakistan, this has become a big issue, and Imran Khan, he's like, unless and until this 370 thing is not going away.
And sorry, it has put back in place, which is not possible technically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why Pakistan make demands that are actually not possible. I mean they need to be realist.
This is the sovereignty of India. How can they interfere in it?
They don't know. The only thing I realize is Pakistanis are not real. I mean, Pakistani governments are not realists. They want utopian things, which is not possible. So, yeah, I mean, regional cooperation can do a lot to supply chain crisis, to avoid supply chain crisis, of course. And in EU, this thing is very, prevalent. Evident, yeah. And you see, Britain came out of EU, and now they are facing the shortage of drivers. Yeah, truck drivers and in the EU, you will not listen to such prices because, of course, they can always, have extra labors from the neighboring countries. So I think in South Asian region as well, we need to do something of that stuff. Maybe SARC can come back and, be much, much more resilient. But I don't think as long as Pakistani government, I mean, especially when Imran Khan is there, I don't think this will happen. This will become reality because he's a very stubborn man. And this brings us to the second part of the episode, and that is how he has negotiated with the terrorists. So the terror funding stuff. Yeah, so basically there is a group called TTP. It is a terrorist organization, and if you remember in 2014, there was a bomb blast in school. Bomb blast in Pakistani school, like I don't know, in Karachi or Lahore, somewhere like that. Yeah, and hundreds of school children and 50s of teachers died on that spot. And now he has, signed a ceasefire with the same group, saying that if they attack, only then they will take action. I mean, the Pakistani government will take action only when the TTP will do something bad, say bomb blast or something, or open fire on a citizen. I mean, just think about it. He has killed hundreds of your children, innocent children, and this is what you do in return with them? I actually read about it recently. I mean, on Quora or somewhere, someone from Pakistan anonymously wrote about it, that how children were so much, kind of, terrified about it, that they didn't want to go back to school and stuff. I mean, I don't remember the thread, but I read it somewhere, and and when I read this news that what happened and the kind of negotiation they did, it actually, I don't know, I felt like so angry over it. Yeah, bad for the citizens also. Yeah, because their traumas are real. Why has government come in the first place? To provide security. Yeah, right? We need government for security and cooperation. Yeah. So if government is not able to provide security, why should the citizens trust them in the first place? Yeah. And now, they have also signed one agreement with TLP saying that they will release all the hostages and give them a proper political party authorization only if they stop the anti-France protest. I mean, that country is fundamentally wrong. Yeah.
The thing with India is that Indians are very, very good. We are. Because no matter what happens, we always respect the ones who have, helped us, and we always not avenge, we are always, not ready to support the people who have done bad with us. And this is our biggest power in, manpower, or you can say the citizens. But in the case of Pakistan, this is their main liability, because the people there have become so extremist thanks to lack of education that they can, they get offended at every other thing. They start protesting and they start, damaging the state property and stuff like that. So I think that nation is fundamentally wrong at many levels, and we just thank God that we are not born there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the situation is gonna get worse, and they are not realizing it more often.
And they are like, what else? What other option do we have? I mean, bro, you're the government. You have a lot of options
Yeah.
to hunt down the terrorists, to stop them.
To stop terror funding in your own country.
Mainly this Pakistani government is chosen by the army and the ISI. If they would have been chosen by the people, then this would not have been the case. I mean, in India, you will never see the RNW or Indian Army, interfering in the politics of the country, especially the federal system. That is the president, prime minister, and the council of ministers. But in Pakistan, this is not the case. The ISI and army does interfere a lot.
They do. And practically the army is running the country.
Yeah. And this is the same case with Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I mean, Sheikh Hasina was a very, tolerant woman. But now she's not, because thanks to the army, which wants that even Bangladesh becomes the next Pakistan.
I mean, we in our previous episodes, we have talked about how Bangladesh is actually doing good and, actually getting better than Pakistan also, even though they are new. But the recent things that are happening is actually making things worse.
How a country treats the minority is a big testament to how tolerant they are. And in Bangladesh, minorities are treated, I mean, they are now being treated just like they do in Pakistan. I mean, minority cannot hold the topmost authorities in the country. They do not have a lot of scope. So India is a much, much better country, because thanks to our lawmakers, we do not have such stupid restrictions on the minorities.
Yeah, so I guess we'll move on to our next topic now.
Yeah.
We have always done this discussion several times, but we just want people to understand it. Like, we are talking about it, but we want Indians also to acknowledge what the privilege we have, and also not misuse it and not make it worse. Yes, we accept that there are certain group of people in India too that don't understand why they are a minority, and but that is not the whole India.
Yeah. And the extremists are a very small part of the population.
Yeah.
The bigger part of the population, they are not extremists. People just want peace and normality in a country.
Yeah. Mostly most of the people in India, we have so many, diversity even in our own lives. Like, we have friends from diverse backgrounds and diverse religions, and we cope and we actually, kind of cooperate among ourselves. Like, there is no division between us. This is real India, and not that extremist and racist people.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
So, moving on to our favorite topic. How China is using art of war.
My brother recently purchased a smart TV, and I watch these things about China all the time, and my mom is like, "Why are you so obsessed with China?" And I'm like, "Mom, you won't understand. Just like you are obsessed with Anupama, I'm obsessed with China."
We people who are actually a bit into geopolitics, we are obsessed with any country that's making trouble for us.
Yeah,
And
especially,
right now it's China.
China is making trouble for almost every country on
Every
this planet,
country. Yes.
even Pakistan.
Yeah, but the Pakistanis are too blind to understand.
Yeah.
There's a very famous thing na in Hindi कि दिल लगी दीवार से तो परी क्या चीज है. So Pakistan is actually in that blind love of China. They don't understand कि they are actually hitting their head on the walls and it's not some angel that's actually helping them.
Yeah. I mean, the ones. Anyway, just moving on to the art of war thing.
Yeah.
So, art of war, how they are using it against Taiwan. So, if you see in the past 1 year, they have had around 700 attacks on Taiwan. And these attacks, they are being done either by waterways or airways.
Yeah.
So Taiwan also has like two small islands which are located far away from the mainland. So just like we have Lakshadweep and all,
Yeah.
they also have two small islands. And coincidentally, these two islands are much closer to China than Taiwan. So China is now doing everything possible in the earth to seize control on those two islands, so that they can say that yes, now even the mainland Taiwan should surrender and China becomes one. This is the number one thing that they are doing. Is that in art of war it is being said that always attack on the weakest thing of your enemy, and this is what they are doing. The two weak things about Taiwan is those small islands that are also a part of the nation, but they are quite far away from it, but they are near to China. So this is the first theory of art of war that they are applying on Taiwan. The second one is how they are using information warfare on Taiwan. I mean, China is the best example of how to use information warfare.
Positively, kind of for their favor.
Yeah, I mean, social credit once again gone up.
And we Indians really need to learn this one thing from them.
Yeah. So basically, every other day you will hear that China has attacked Taiwan. China, even though they have not done it on a big scale.
Yeah.
Right? But they are just infusing a kind of fear on the minds of everyone, including Indians. Of course, Taiwanese, but also Indians, that China can do anything they want anytime. I mean, you will not realize this, but Chinese soldiers, they are not quite well acquainted with how to fight on, elevated areas, especially near the Arunachal Pradesh border. But Indian soldiers are. How many Indians do you think know about this, fact about Indian and Chinese army? But this is how we are feeling, right? In India, you will not see a lot of people talking positively when it comes to China versus India. Because there is a kind of fear in their mind that China will win. Even though China is a lot scared of India, because
psychologically it is like the Indians think that we are at worse positions. But if the war happens between India and China, it's not just us who are gonna lose. They too are gonna lose a lot.
A lot, because thanks to the military power of India and also the diplomatic ties that India has with countries like Israel and USA and Australia also. So these things are not known by India.
Half of the world is gonna be on the side of India, given what China is doing recently. It's diplomatically. I mean, China has always not been good at diplomatic ties with other countries. It's always been very hostile to others.
Yeah, and so basically, not a lot of Indians know about this because we don't tell them.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and this is a very important thing that art of war talks about. And even in the early times when kings used to rule in China, they used to tell the people that they are not conceived by humans. Dragons blessed their mothers, and that is how they were born. I mean, we know that this is not true, but see, this is also a kind of information warfare that people used to think that, oh no, we cannot overturn this monarchy because they are blessed by the dragons, even though we know that dragons are a myth, right? Yeah. Dragons are a myth. So basically, yeah, they have used information warfare on a huge scale and that too positively. So kudos to that country. We need to learn a lot from them.
Just this, not a lot.
Only
No,
information warfare.
Yeah.
And I think the third strategy of art of war that they are applying is weakening the allies. See, now every American or every Indian thinks that if China and Taiwan go to war, they should not participate because why should we, come in between these two nations, right? That is what
Yeah.
we think. Even in India, a lot of people think so. So this is how they have impacted the minds of Indians and Americans by continuously attacking Taiwan. I mean, just 700 times in a year. Can you imagine? And even in Indians' mind, they have, left some impression of the PLA by doing that attack, Galwan Valley attack.
Okay.
And now they're also helping Pakistan. And now they're also helping Pakistan, take down India from a different direction. Yeah, so this is also
It reminded me what actually happened with China and Pakistan. They gifted Pakistan. It reminded me of the time when US used to do the same. Gift equipments to the Pakistan to deal with India, sorry. And I remember what happened with the PNS Ghazi.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, truth always wins.
Yeah, truth prevails.
And this time, though, I mean, USA is on our side, but this does
USA
not
is
mean
at
that.
no one side actually. They are very uncertain about what they want. Even in Joe Biden's presidency, we can never trust US.
Yeah, that's true. And one more thing that we need to talk about is that how Russia and China are becoming very close.
Yeah, and it's a matter of concern for us.
And they are becoming close because they have a lot of trade. And if Indians also increase trade with Russia, and our trade is only limited to defense equipments. That's it.
Yeah.
So if we increase the trade and take it to say 50 billion, at least 50 billion, then you will see that even in Russia will become very neutral. At least they will become neutral, right?
Yeah.
So I mean there are a lot of things that need to be done, and we can just hope for the best.
Yes, and also do our parts. Hoping is different, and actually actions.
And I think one thing that we as citizens can do is educate other citizens about their malicious intentions, the malicious intention of China.
So, that's important that we understand what the reality is and not, actually give to what is being fed to us.
Yeah, because one small voice is also enough.
Whistleblower. Yeah. So I guess this was it for today's episode.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Till then, tell us your views on these topics too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.